Hello, everybody. Welcome. This is Psych Investigator. Hello, Everybody, welcome. Those are Psych Investigators. Sonny, I always say Rosie Psyche. I don't say Rosie Psychic, which is what I should say. But here we are. And today is Friday. Oh, let's see here. January 2nd. And the recording. Continuing on the series of predictions for 2016. In a way, these are predictions for 2016, but they are also just elaboration on what's really going on. So let's get started. All right, so let's do the protection. I like to ask for protection, a beautiful ray of light coming on top of my head as I breathe in. I fill my lungs as I breathe out. I create a circle. I step into it. I feel protected. I feel connected. I like to ask that information come only from the highest sources, that I create the good and none of the good, and so it is. Oh, okay. So I am looking at some questions from some of you, and it's really obviously a continuation of what I was talking about yesterday, which is the main characters of this year. And let me actually read her comment here. And by the way, before I refresh this, you guys know that I have never really seen him taking over. Okay, so this is from Nita, and I'm going to add the screenshot to the video. Good to have you back. Take care of yourself. We need you. Nice to see your appearance and the fireworks. Several readers talk of JD Maybelline taking over when Fallon leaves. I can't stand to hear that. Looking forward to your insights on other folks as you see fit. Happy New Year, love and light to you and your family. So basically, the question is about JD Vance. So is he going to take over from Trump or not? Okay. Okay, so what is going to happen to JD Vance in 2026? And is he going to take over from Trump? So it's interesting because yesterday I had seen this image of him, of Trump actually, and this, like, part of his body was in this hole, and he started to sink. And then it shows me the similar image of Trump sinking, and JD Vance, almost as if he has a little stool on top of Trump, like as Trump sinks, he's like, yeah, it's my turn now. He gets on top of the stool, and yeah, he just has that fake face of his, and he steps on top of Trump basically. As Trump is sinking, he realizes that's the perfect time. And then, no, I'm going to do this and this and that. But then he begins to sink as well. So he thought that he was separate from Trump, or that his fate was separate from Trump's, but it's not. So as Trump sinks, so does he. Okay, so that's the vision for this. Now, again, I know I'm going to get comments like this, like, oh, but the Constitution says that JD Vance has to take over, right? We all know that. But let me ask then the question, but isn't JD Vance scheduled to take over? He's the vice president. If anything, how could that be? How could he sink? Is he going to be formally inaugurated as the president? He's signing all these papers. He's very excited about it. And then there's the confirmation moment. Oh, we're going to have the confirmation. He's there. He is, and he's like ready to swear on the Bible. But it's interesting because he changes. We already know he's very condescending. He's very full of himself, and it goes like, it's crazy how like he gets even worse. And then he's almost like, it's interesting because the images I'm being shown are almost like the king, when a king is about to be like to take over. There's all these protocols, and he's wearing this jacket, ceremonial jacket, and then he's taken to this place. There's a curtain, and when he's before the curtain, when it's the time for him to take over, then these officials that almost look like royal courtiers, they lift their masks and they say, you can't take over, go, please sir, go this way. And it doesn't really happen. So okay, so how could that be? Why would that be? Because this is not a legitimate government. And people were legitimately afraid to stop Trump because Trump is quite popular. Even though a lot of his popularity is manufactured, he is in fact popular. But JD Vance is not. And he is not popular with the MAGA base. He's not popular with the larger majority of people. He is owned by Peter Thiel, and Peter Thiel has a lot of money, but that's not everything. Okay, so, all right. So then so let me ask this question. So then what happens to, let's see here. If JD Vance does not take over, then who does? And how does that work? Right? What happens? Because Peter Thiel is going to be mad, right? We know that. If he doesn't get what he wants. So what happens? I see that Peter Thiel is excited, very happy to see him getting ready to take over. And then something happens, right? But he's very, very happy. He's with him. And then they split up because he has to get ready for the confirmation. But somehow that is undone. It doesn't happen. Okay. So let's ask. I'm going to ask then a little bit about Peter Thiel and what happens to JD Vance next and what happens to Peter Thiel next. Okay, so let's look at Peter Thiel and JD Vance for 2026. And as I said before, I don't quite see him taking over. I didn't see the image of him becoming president. And I see that it's funny as I tell you this, I see him so enraged that it didn't happen. It doesn't happen. And the question is, what happens to them this year? And I'm going to try to do a timeline starting January and then going forward. Okay, so let's do JD Vance January 2nd going forward. And then I'll tell you when I pick up on changes. It's interesting. Towards January 15th, 17th, he looks like a soccer player getting prepared by his coach to take over. And it's like when they're getting off the bench to get warmed up. And wait. And then it shows me February, what is it? Second, third week. Trump tripping and really falling. And he can't get up after he falls. And again, this could be metaphorical. It doesn't mean that he's going to have an actual fall. It could happen considering his age and his health condition. But he falls, and then the coach wants to substitute, which is JD Vance. And then what happens? Wow. And then I see these men with uniforms in the background and saying he's not qualified. He cheated. It's interesting because it shows me the sports, right? In the sports world, they know that he's not legitimate. This government was not legitimate, but he's so arrogant. And then okay, so he's getting ready. Oh, but he's like, the amount of arrogance is crazy. And then what happens? The biggest humiliation of all. Wow. And then I see the cover of the New York Times saying JD is out. New government coalition formed. Wow. So that's what I get. I mean, I don't know. Again, guys, we have an unprecedented treasonous government, and we also have unprecedented conditions for the removal of this government. So that's what I pick up, really. And then again, it shows me Kamala in the background waiting for her turn. Again, and I know people ask me, so is it now? Is it no? It's as the thing unravels, the thing they have done unravels, this structure returns. Okay, again, I don't know the details, all of that. So, so this is it. Now, like, what about, so let's go back here to the timeline. So then I see JD Vance. So this is around February, March through May. Confusion. He's hidden. Like he has to leave and he's just, it's like the biggest humiliation of all. But then he wasn't like a legitimate winner of anything, right? So eventually he reemerges from this and that woman talks to him. She's a very good lawyer. She basically tells him you have to collaborate. You have to, it's like and I see he has to sign all these things. He has to tell this side of the story so that he does not end up in prison for the rest of his life, as will most of them. And I'm seeing the face of the man, Colby, Colby, and he is going to prison for sure, at least 10, 12 years, and disgraced as well. And he sees this. It's interesting. I see JD Vance watching this on television and living in some, I don't know, I guess he could go back to Ohio or something, but trying to live in a suburb on his own. I don't think that his current wife will be with him. I think she will go back to the corporate world if she can. Although it's hard to tell, right? How is that going to happen? Considering how like she has sticky fingers basically because she's married to him. But it looks like she may recover in some way. But the thing is, those who may have a chance at escaping this have to come clean and have to red out the others. And that's what Vance has to do. Now, okay, and then now it shows me the face of Peter Thiel, and he's like, apoplectic when he realizes that JD is not winning. Like he's not taking over. And then I have to go to, and it's like, Teterboro, the Teterboro Airport is an airport in New Jersey that has all the private planes, and he has to get out of the country. Let's go. I have to get out. But he's stopped, I think. But I still see him being able to leave, but it's like he's captured or he has to turn back. And it's not a joke anymore. And even those people are psychopaths, right? They're crazy. And then he has to face justice for a lot of things. And I think he knows that in some ways he's safer being in the US, even if he has to go to prison, because if he goes anywhere else, he's going to get him. We're going to get him. So then let's see. And Colby, that's right, this Colby guy. And I also see Hegseth being like, he's waving from, but it looks to me as though Hegseth has been gone for a while. He may be one of the first to fall and be arrested or something. And then, I don't know why I see that he's like far gone. Because he had one of the most critical jobs, right? Which is the Department of Defense. And he knew he was doing treason all along. And they already have evidence, so much so that, remember all the chats and all that. So, okay, so I understand all of this, but what do we need to know here? There's a lot of people involved. There's a lot of Americans waiting impatiently for the next chapter. So what do we need to know about the situation? Huh? Okay. Take it easy. Anything is possible. It's saying that welcome the unexpected. Watch out for the unexpected in a good way. And that the thing you must do is to not exactly deny, but disregard whatever comes from them. Don't let them dictate the narrative. Okay? So this is it. So by the end of the year, I see him having to testify somewhere. But then I see that the place he's wearing like normal clothes. It may be some sort of like a private tribunal, something like that. It feels very military to me. So very unexpected events. Okay. All right. Now, I don't know, I kind of feel like I want to do the visions, like I said. Also part of the setup situation. It's funny, I'm using this, seeing my little camera. I love the audio, to be honest, with this. I may need to do, there's another camera that I have that would be a good one for recording doing the cards, but we'll see. Okay. I'll see how I do it. I'll have to figure it out. All right. Okay. So thank you guys for watching. And I'll see you very soon. All right. Bye bye.